Hey, welcome back to episode number 20 of the Ask Sri Vishwanath show. And today's episode, we'll speak about the power of Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, and the most common mistakes the devotees make in this path.
You ask questions and I answer them. This is the Ask Sri Vishwanath show.
Alright, so today's question is from Tamankal, and she says, I saw your yesterday's episode of yoga and did not quite agree with you when you said that Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, is superior to the Bhakti Yoga. I thought each are separate paths which lead to the same destination. So can you clarify why that is so? So the question is, why is Jnana Yoga superior to Bhakti Yoga? Because she thinks each is a separate path. And that's a great question, Tamankal. And today we will, Vivekananda. He has a beautiful quote from, Vivekananda talks about a beautiful quote where he says, as the different rivers having their sources from different streams all mingle their water into the sea, so, O Lord, the different paths which men and women take, crooked or straight though they seem, all lead to Thee. So, all paths lead to Thee, that we have no doubt. All right. However, we have, let's focus on, why Jnana Yoga is superior to Bhakti Yoga. Now, what I want those who have not watched the yesterday's episode, I want you to watch them. And so the question here was from a woman who was practicing Raja Yoga, the pranayama, the breathing, and she had, difficulty. So I, encourage her to practice Jnana Yoga. And today, I'll talk to you about the power of Bhakti Yoga and the popular misconceptions. Now and as we do it, we will answer that question. So the first issue with Bhakti Yoga is that, people mistake their emotions to be devotion. Now this is very important. You'll see most in places, people dancing around, doing all these things, and they think they are sort of like devotional. You see, Vivekananda said that the higher the waves rise, the lower it falls. That means when you have this surge of emotion, this dancing, clapping, and all these things, when it goes very high, the higher the waves rise, the lower it falls. What happens is that surge of emotion is very short-lived, and when it falls, it's sort of like it gets released from very unpleasant activities of sensual pleasures. This is what Vivekananda said. The higher the waves rise, the lower it falls. Because emotional, people mistake, all this dancing, clapping, and this emotional surcharge which happens during that, all these things. That is very dangerous. And most of the people do that. They think that is devotion. But devotion is like, it's constant. It's like, those who are, who follow the path of Bhakti Yoga, like 365 days, always very devoted. They follow regular patterns of prayer, meditation, and all these sort of things. So most of the things that people see, the path of Bhakti Yoga is natural, but the number one mistake is people mistake their emotions towards God to be devotion. And that is a very, very big, crucial mistake. And that's why Vivekananda says that this path, though it's natural, it's a very slow process because people move very slowly. And so Vivekananda said there are 5 steps in Bhakti Yoga. And it's very interesting. The first step he said was Shanta, Bhakti, which is like, it's a starting phase where you, sort of like get started in the Bhakti Yoga. And so there's the silent, love where you admire the Creator, you admire Krishna, you admire Christ. That's Shanta Yoga. And the second is Sakhya Yoga. It's like friendship. You treat God as a friend. So, that sort of relationship. So Bhakti Yoga is basically a relationship between you and God. So the first is a silent relation. The second is the Sakya Yoga, which means like you treat God as your friend. That's the second. The third is Dasya Bhava, which is like a servant. You think of yourself as a servant of Krishna. So that sort of relationship you forge and you move ahead. And then there is this fourth, which is called Vatsalya Bhava, which is where you treat where you treat God as a child. And so that's the fourth bhava, where that's the form of relation. All this is like ascending. First the Shanta, friendship, servant, child. And the fifth and the most foremost, which is the highest, is called Madhura Bhava. And this is very, very difficult to attain. You see, most people they mistake the first four and they think they have attained this Madhura Bhava. This is attained by very few people. I mean, maybe Chaitanya was one of them, and then there are 5 or 6 people, or maybe a dozen of them on earth. That's it. Madhura Bhava is where, all man and women look upon Krishna. See, all man and women are women and Krishna is their husband. It's sort of like that, where you have that loving relationship. And that's the highest. And that sort of thing, people mistake emotions to be Madhura Bhava. People are always either in the Shanta or the Sakya or the Dasya Bhava. This Madhura Bhava, Vivekananda says, there are very few people. Like Chaitanya, he preached Madhura Bhava to the world. But Vivekananda says, for himself, he first used the knowledge of Brahman, which is the Jnana Yoga. So Ramakrishna says, the elephant has 2 tusks, right? Through one, it sort of like digests its food, and the other it uses for enemies, for care, if animals attack it, or for, cutting out various things. So there are different people on earth, like Chaitanya, he preached, Madhura Bhava, but for himself he used Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga for himself, but preaching is Bhakti Yoga. So this is very important, and that is why Vivekananda says that first you use, you know the Jiva. So Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, all of these people, all of these great men, they say that first you master the Jiva. First you master the Jnana Yoga. Know the Jiva, become the Jiva, and then you channel your knowledge through. Third is the manifest dharma. Third is you channel the yoga, channel your knowledge through your, the Bhakti Yoga or Raja Yoga or Karma Yoga. So did you get what I'm saying? What they say is, first you master Jnana Yoga. So know the Jiva, become the Jiva. And then based on your personality, if your personality is towards Bhakti, towards devotion, then you channel this knowledge, manifest your Dharma through Bhakti Yoga. You see, then it will not be emotional. This is very important, because the second mistake which most devotees make is they are unprepared. Unprepared. Like what I said was, you got to be prepared. I mean, you should know what sort of things are coming. Like I told you, the various steps, the Shanta Yoga, Sakya Yoga. It's like an elevation. And so Vivekananda always says that first is you master Jnana Yoga. Then you can channel that knowledge through Bhakti Yoga or Raja Yoga or Karma Yoga. So did you get why they said, that Jnana Yoga is very important. You can choose to channel it through Karma Yoga, but first master it for your own self, like Chaitanya. For himself he used the knowledge of Brahman, the Jnana Yoga, but for preaching he used the Madhura Bhava. So don't be unprepared, because when you use emotional, you always sort of like get into roadblocks, and it's a very slow process. So did you get what they say? They say first practice, so first master Jnana Yoga, second channel that through Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, whatever. And the third mistake which Vivekananda says is, people lack fierce determination to see God. You see, you got to have that determination that I want to see God, see it through your eyes, just see, just like we are seeing this image, just like I am seeing you. That sort of determination is required, and when that is required, all paths lead to thee. I hope I answered your question, Taminkal. You keep asking questions and I keep answering them.